We're moving to the next speaker. So it's a pleasure to introduce Emily Dennis here. And Emily will give an update on the ENIGMA-U, a free online resource for increasing representation in neuroimaging research.
Thank you. So I first presented on this about 2 years ago now. This has been a project that has taken way longer than I anticipated, but has been really, really fun to work on. So just a brief background. There are, or in some cases were, many nationally funded within the U.S. Efforts to increase historically excluded groups, their representation in STEM. Many of these start in grad school or later, and we're already losing a lot of opportunities to bring in new voices. Neuroscience, neuroimaging are just by nature very broad and interdisciplinary. This is a bit of, I mean, it's part of the thing that's exciting, but it's also a bit of a challenge because there's such a broad range of information that you need to have to get started. And without guidance, students might have very little idea of what they would need to study to get to continue in this area. Research experience is a critical part of a resume, of course, but if you don't have experience, you're less likely to get a position in a lab, but then how do you get started? And there are summer options, but I, for one, do not take summer students because the training is just too long that they wouldn't get to the point of actually getting something out of it. So how do we get started? There are a few barriers to accessing mentorship. Some of the main ones: physical, if you don't live close to a university; financial, not being able to take an unpaid research position; cultural, not really knowing academia, not really feeling comfortable reaching out to researchers, knowing that that's appropriate; or logistical, not really having the flexibility to pursue opportunities outside of work or outside of a school schedule. So to address this, we created ENIGMA-U. ENIGMA-U is a free online course that's focused on neuroscience and neuroimaging, and in large part also neuropsychology, that's geared towards advanced high school and entry-level college students. It's open to anybody, but just in terms of complexity, that's where we've geared it. It's online, so that addresses the physical issues. It's free, so clearly that addresses the financial issues. And we have been working for some time on trying to get funding for an internship network that I think is going to be a little further down the line, especially at this point. Cultural, we include information on academia, kind of what does a career look like, what are the norms, what are the expectations. And classes are asynchronous, so kind of like Coursera, where you can go on, watch videos at your own schedule and complete quizzes there. This is asynchronous. None of this is in a great deal of depth. The goal is just to provide students with a very basic foundation to enable them to pursue additional coursework or get a position in a lab and go into this a bit further. And ENIGMA-U also connects students with the broader ENIGMA consortium, which can be a tremendous networking opportunity. So I know you guys all heard about ENIGMA yesterday, so I don't need to go into a lot of detail here. But just to say that all of this has been tremendous for research, and one of the things that I really like about ENIGMA is it places a large emphasis on supporting junior trainees and kind of giving more junior researchers an opportunity to lead projects. And so going from crowdsourcing neuroimaging analysis, I thought this would be an easy way to also crowdsource neuroimaging training. So to date, we've had 70 researchers who have contributed lectures to ENIGMA-U. Not all, but most of them have come from the ENIGMA consortium. So this is still not finished. This has taken a lot longer than I anticipated, but we do have 55 hours of lectures that have been completed so far. They've been organized into modules that are summarized here, some introduction, a bit on professional development, scientific literacy, natural phenomena is kind of how I combined neurodevelopment, aging, sex differences, sleep, those sorts of things. There's a large computer programming and data analysis module. This comes in part from a program called Repro Rehab that was started by Dr. Li Lu at USC. So we were able to benefit from the work that they had put into putting together these entry-level videos. The module on clinical disorders is quite large, and this is where ENIGMA really came in handy, because I could send a blast out to all of these people, and I got a whole bunch of researchers saying, yes, I'd be happy to create a 15-minute video about depression. So we've got 21 disorders that are covered. Right now, my goal was to have an intro-level lecture on each of these, and then a few follow-up lectures for students who become particularly interested in schizophrenia or Parkinson's, that they can go in and watch some more content. We've got a statistics module. There's a very large neuropsychology module, which was actually great practice for me because I'm not a neuropsychologist, so I learned a lot in adding all of the captions to those videos. And the newest one, the neuroimaging methods. So for this, we had a few levels. We started with very basic, what's the MR physics, kind of the basics of the signal and different modalities. Then brought it up to what we're actually trying to measure. So basically starting with, for example, the bold signaling, what does that actually mean? And then talking about function in the brain, structural connectivity, functional connectivity, what do these ideas mean? And then, of course, a large part that goes into various processing pipelines. For this, we were able to benefit from, I'm sure all of you are familiar with Andy's Brain blog. Andrew Young gave me permission to reuse a number of his videos, so I kind of repackaged them, and those are up there. We are still working on a few additional modules, such as DSI Studio, so those will be coming. Modules that are in progress, we're almost done. We've got 55 hours, and I expect that the full thing will be around 70 hours. We're going to continue to add forever, I hope, and update material as new information becomes available. But I want to have a completed course so that students can go through the whole thing and have a certificate at the end, which I'll explain in a minute. So the modules that are in progress, a research design module that's going to talk about some of the just the basics of how you actually do research, a careers in science. We've got videos from neuroscience PhDs, psych PhDs, PsyDs, and working on finding some for medical school, just to give students an idea of what the trajectory looks like, what your training is, how many years does it take to get to the end of that training. And then last but not least, an ethics module. We've also been working really hard on increasing accessibility, so we have English captions and English language transcripts for most of the videos and are working on finishing those. And I'm hoping in the future that we might be able to work with some people in translating some of these. So what does the interface look like? It's all supported by a learning management software called Unique. There are asynchronous lectures, as I already mentioned. We made it so that most of the lectures are between 10 and 20 minutes, so larger topics are broken up into a few videos so that we can really keep their attention. And there are quizzes online with a completion certificate at the end. My idea was that this would be something that people could bring and put along with their resume if they didn't have much official coursework or prior work to put on a resume, that they could have this, and it would detail the number of hours that they'd spent on which topics. Another piece that I've been adding is a bunch of interviews. I've conducted 50 interviews so far, asking questions of various people who have studied neuroimaging, used neuroimaging, are just kind of generally in that realm, asking questions like, what was your training to get here? What do you like most about your current position? What are the biggest challenges for you right now? We've edited all of these, and I made an effort, and I want to bring in more as well, but trying to make an effort to include a really broad spectrum in terms of level of training, background, career stages, people who are both inside academia and outside of academia, so that students can go through and watch these. In the end, they should be like 5 minutes each, 5 to 7 minutes each, so that students can go in and watch them and find somebody who speaks to them. In addition to the formal course, because we pay a small but not zero fee for students on the course, everything is also available on YouTube. So please feel free to go here, use it as a training. If you have a family member who just wants to know, like, what do you do, you can send them here. And we will continue to update these as new modules become available. So So far, we've had over 1,500 students sign up for this course. We've been active for 3 years now, 1,500 students from 92 countries. And I'm very happy to say that it is not all North America and Europe. We've got pretty exciting distribution of students. Of the students who've signed up so far, 20% of them come from low and lower middle income countries, 62% are non-white, 21% are first generation college students, 38% have parents with a high school education or less, and 59% have English as a second language. So we really are reaching a broad audience, and the feedback that I've gotten from students is really encouraging. So funding, we started with some pilot funding from my department, but it's been supported entirely by private donors for the last 2 years. Our cost is pretty minimal, and I am constantly working on trying to find sustainable funding. So if you have ideas, please come talk to me about that. We also have a tax-deductible donation link through our university. In the future, we're trying to expand this into an internship network to connect students with the broader ENIGMA network. Definitely want to look into translation, responding to course feedback, and trying to get some formal metrics for when it's okay to talk about DEI again. So if you are interested in this, yes, there are plenty of opportunities to help. If there's topics that you are excited about that you don't see represented, definitely suggest them. The course info is there. I've got links here for the course info and sign up, the YouTube channel, and the donation. And most of all, I want to thank the 70 lecturers from 42 institutions across 12 countries who have made 55 hours of lectures so far, because that's the only way that this happens. So, thank you.
Well, what a wonderful resource that you have built and still are building. This is really exciting, and I think a lot of us, it's so great that we can even just go on YouTube to watch just shorts of it, but then also have the course available. So yeah, thank you so much. Because of the interest of time, we're going to move on to the next speaker. But again, thank you very much, Emily.